Really pleased to have Lara Herscovitch, who was driving back from apparently a great show at Solarfest.
Yes. Oh, well, I like to think it was great. But yes, we had a great time at Solarfest, coming on the heels of Roots on the River right here in Bellows Falls, which was also just a terrific festival. So I'm getting a lot of great Vermont in this summer.
The Solarfest took a little break after the farm.
Yes.
I was actually one of the panelists at that last one before they took that break.
Oh, all right.
About low power FM radio.
Yes.
Along with guys from Royalton Community Radio.
Oh, okay. See, we're all family. It's such a small world in the music business, in the radio business. And
Oh, yeah, Black Sheep and Misfit.
nice. Yes. I always love it when those dots connect, for sure.
For people who don't know, talk about Misfit.
Misfit is my brand new hot off the press recording and album. It's the title track, so the name of the whole CD is Misfit. And it's really about coming into one's own and being comfortable with, in my case, being a musician and being in the creative community and connected to family that are also misfits and fellow artists of all kinds, musicians, painters, poets, and so on, and radio personalities for that matter.
The world needs us all.
Amen. It's about like authenticity and finding your voice and like searching your heart and your soul and figuring out like, you know, what is it that you feel like you were put on earth to do? What makes you happy? What allows you to give back to the community in a great positive way? Because it's really up to all of us to shape the world that we live in. So it's the CD kicks off with a song called The Bravest Thing. And there's a line in it that, you know, we are all we've got. We shape this world if we intend to or not. And that it's really about all of us like teaching each other to fly. So that's what I'm hoping that my music will help inspire people to do. All of us misfits.
They had 2 music stages, 3?
There were 2 music stages and a workshop stage. And there was a lot going on. They have, a lot of different things.
So it's bigger than it was.
It's about the same as it was. So there's, of course, a solar-powered music festival, a combination of lots of environmental defense and protection and cleanup kinds of workshops and vendors and spirit, if you will, alongside musicians of all different kinds, from full bands to solo singer-songwriters like myself.
So much really good renewable energy information.
Yes.
And just alternative living information.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you fit that thing like a glove.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had a great time here at Roots on the River, and I had a great time at Solarfest, and I was happy there and here in Bellows Falls.
I want you to come back and do like a giant in-studio.
Okay.
And we can let people know it's going to happen
All right.
so they can come. Are you into that?
Sure, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Well, let's pursue that.
And any good excuse, a musical excuse or other to come back to Bellows Falls is fine by me because I really do love it here. It's a beautiful community, lots of great people. So yeah, I'd love to come back. It's a deal.
And you have donated signed copies of your entire catalog. You've got 4 discs out, and one of them is going out of print. Is that right?
That's true. Juror number 13 came out originally in 2006. And literally, I think I have 50 copies of it left, and now 49 because one of them is signed and going to Black Sheep Radio for,
We're going to
support the station.
We're going to put that in the silent auction that we do every year that raises the money that helps pay for the bolts that keep the wheels on this place.
Excellent.
And so it's a terrific donation. Somebody is going to score that, and they're going to be very happy with it.
Well, I hope so. It goes with love, and it goes with, sincere gratitude for the station and all that you're doing to support the community here, and also independent musicians like myself. So it's like I joke sometimes, if a song falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it. I mean, radio makes a huge difference to independent artists like me. So and on behalf of artists like me, really just want to say thank you so much to Black Sheep Radio for all that you're doing.
What else new is going on? Anything just brand new hit your radar that's exciting that you're up to?
Well, I actually split my time between music. I'm a full-time musician, but I also part-time do juvenile justice advocacy work statewide in Connecticut. And so that work is going really well. Nationally, I would say that work is going well, drawing people's attention to the mass incarceration and over criminalization of Americans in general, but also the overcriminalization of young people, the school to prison pipeline, that kind of thing. So I'm really excited. I know that the world feels in some ways like it's falling apart, but I see it as an opportunity for transformation. The Black Lives Matter movement, the environmental movement, there's a lot of richness going on. I'm hoping that the rearing of all the bitterness and hate and anger and divisiveness that we're seeing, it's sort of rearing its ugly head right now. I'm really hoping that that wakes up complacent love. And I'm hoping that it wakes up all of us who are out in the world making the world a better place, but we realize we have to fight a little bit harder for it, that it doesn't just come by accident, right? Like it comes because we stand up and are agents of that change and are warriors of peace and so on. So from a really big picture answer, that's exciting to me. It's troubling to see that we still have to fight as hard as we have to for it, and that we haven't gotten as far as we, I think, should have and will. But I feel optimistic and positive about where we're going to get together. I think it's forcing a lot of our otherwise sort of separated movements to come together. I think it's a hopeful time for America to reinvent ourselves again.
That was the powerful and exciting 3 minutes right there. I have a tendency to get despondent sometimes.
Sure, we all do.
Things. How do you drag yourself back up?
Well, first, I mean, some of the best advice I've gotten is to feel what you feel, like honor that, and don't fight those feelings of sadness, and to really let yourself go into them, let yourself cry when you need to cry, because that ultimately is going to get you through it, right? To get through it, you have to go through it. It's not about renting a helicopter and flying over it. Honor where you're at. And then really for me, what keeps me going very sincerely is connecting with other advocates, other activists, other musicians, other artists, so that I know that I'm not in it alone. And so sometimes when I start to feel despondent, it's because I'm isolating a little bit. And when I can get out and feel the strength of the connection between other people and know that I'm really part of an army, an army for integrity and honesty and peace and justice. And I know some of that sounds a little bit cliche, but I mean it absolutely sincerely. And it's about all of us getting better organized so that we're in it together and we're all linking arms and getting the work done as a unit. Together we're much stronger. Together the whole is much greater than the sum of the parts.
So it just takes a little bit of energy and direction to be the change and create the life.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, change. And people, I have spent my life trying to figure out what's the magic bullet. And we may have talked about this last time. I got a master's degree in social work, and I was trying to figure out all along what is the leverage point for positive human change and environmental protection. How do we take better care of each other? How do we take better care of our planet? And so I've gone back and forth between feeling like, well, okay, it's education, so therefore I should work in education, or it's public health, and therefore I should work in public health, and so on, and so on, and so on. And what I now realize is that really it's what are my gifts? What are my talents? What makes me happy? What do I want to get up in the morning and do? And for me, that's always music, like no question, hands down. And that's not true for everybody. So if someone wakes up in the morning and it's about pottery or it's about environmental engineering, whatever the case may be, it's about all of us finding our own interest and passion and doing that work. Because what's that quote? Don't ask what the world needs to do that. Ask what makes you come alive and do that, because that's what the world needs, is for all of us to come alive and be a positive change. So whether that's super local and volunteering as a big sister or a big brother, or, working at an early childhood care clinic, or whatever the case may be, it's all needed. It all needs to be done. So do the one that fills up your gas tank and gives you energy to make whatever positive change.
The confluence of all the things.
Yeah, it's all connected. So luckily not everybody wants to be a new American folk singer, because then I might be out of a job. So I'm glad, there's a lot of us, but not too many. And so I'm just having a great time. And honestly, the more I do it, the more I love it. I'm grateful that I also get to do juvenile justice work and keep kids out of the system in the first place, because that, I guarantee you, that is not where they are best served. We're trying to address their needs when they have needs. Some of it is just minor, nonviolent, typical adolescent behavior that I'm not going to speak for you, but I sure did when I was a young person. So some of it is just misbehavior that young people age out of. Their brains haven't finished developing until they're 25 years old. But when we need a deeper intervention, criminal justice is typically not the best policy. It's the most expensive policy, and it's the one that doesn't necessarily always fix the underlying needs.
But there are a few people making a lot of money off it.
There are some people making a whole lot of money off of it. Yeah, 10% of the prisons in the U.S. are publicly traded corporations, and to make more money, you need more bodies behind bars. And so, yeah, they have lobbyists on Capitol Hill changing laws so that we can now detain people, a certain category of people, without charges, and it's really scary stuff. But the world and the country is waking up to this civil rights crisis for sure. This massively impacts communities of color in a massively unjust way. And it's our human rights crisis as well. We're literally creating refugees in our own country just for somebody making a mistake and paying their time. And then we disenfranchise them from voting. We disenfranchise them from gainful employment, and then point our finger at them when they fail, even though we haven't given them any of the tools to succeed.
Or when they stand up for themselves.
Sure, absolutely. So we got some work to do, but the good news is we're doing it, and I see the positive change happening.
I wasn't trying to drag us into a dark place.
Not at all. No, it's real, right? And the whole point is to let's be honest. Let's look in the mirror and see where we're at, and fix what needs fixing. We got work to do.
Lara Herscovitch, I know you have more than a couple 100 miles to go.
I sure do. Always. That is almost always true. That is a sentence I can say most days. I like to think I'm a musician, but really I'm a driver.
I'm really glad that you let me turn on the tractor beam and pull you in front of our microphones for just a little bit. And seriously, let's get you back here and do a thing.
Let's do a thing. I'm in. I appreciate you having me. It's fun to be here in the studio on a lovely Sunday afternoon. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back.
I'm going to play a cut from Misfit. What should I play?
Well, I was talking about The Bravest Thing, so let's go with that. I think that punctuates our conversation nicely. We've been laying low, letting the foxes pretend they will take excellent care of all the hens. Some things we need to hear are hard to say them anyway. We are all we've got. We shape this world every day if we intend to or not. We all stand on shoulders. Someone showed us the sky. We move forward, teaching each other to fly. We've come too far to turn back now. 7 generations entrust their perfect vow. The footprints teach us we can get through. Love is the bravest thing to do. Where the hand leaves the drum before it falls. Before this pile of boulders becomes a wall. Where the snowflake meets the air, possibility everywhere. Oh, meet me there. We've come too far to turn back now. 7 generations entrust their perfect vow. The footprints teach us we can get through. Love is the bravest thing to do. So meet me where the doing meets the undone. Grab a hold of any hand that has begun. Oh, we've come too far to turn back seven generations.